All right, if you're watching this video first, I want to ask you to pause this video, watch one of the videos to your lesson in the link below, and then come back and watch this video. If you've already watched those, then let's continue on. So today's lesson was about men who thought they knew what God's plan was. They knew who Jesus was, they knew what he had been teaching, they had followed him around, they knew him well. But then he died, and they began to question what they knew about God. They began to question the plan that God had made. And it wasn't until they recognized who Jesus was that they remembered that God's got it, and God's got a plan, and Jesus reassured them of all those things. And we're facing a similar time in our lives right now where we had things going really well and really smooth. We were going to school and we were doing our work, whether we liked that or not, but we had friends, we got recess, and we were having a great time. And then some things happened and the world has changed and we're at home and things maybe seem a little bit more uncertain. And this all reminded me of a story of a man named Paul. He's one of my favorite New Testament characters, and he wrote most of what makes up the New Testament. And in Paul's life, his number one mission was to spread the word of Christ to the world, to bring as many people to know Jesus as he could. And because of that, people were after him. People imprisoned him. People left him for dead. People were trying to kill him. People put him in prison. He was shipwrecked. He was snake bit. You name it, he went through it. But he still continued to preach the gospel to the world around him. And through all of that, Paul wrote this in Philippians chapter 4, verses 11 through 13. I am not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. We can have a lot or we can have a little. It doesn't matter. God's there the whole time. God's plan for our lives hasn't changed. I know this in my own personal life. I know when I was diagnosed with cancer and the doctor gave me that diagnosis, I felt like this weight of everything coming on me. I'm sick. Will I ever get well? How am I going to pay for all the medicine and everything that I'm going to need to get this taken care of? But I remember stopping and praying to God. It was the very first thing I did. And I said, God, I don't know how I'm going to take care of this. I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. I don't know if I'm going to recover from this. I don't know how you're going to use this as part of my life. But God, I want to learn. I want to be open to what you're going to teach me. Help me use this in a positive way to bring others towards you. And just show me the things that I need to know about myself. Take care of this for me because this is bigger than me. And through that whole process, I learned so much from God. I saw him take care of my physical needs and my financial needs. I saw him move in amazing ways in my life. And I saw him point some things out about me that I needed to change to move forward in life. And we're in a very similar situation where we need to give this up to God. We want to say, God, I'm uncertain about what's going to happen next. I'm anxious, I'm stressed, but I need to give it to you because you're bigger than all of this and you have a plan and you know how this is going to end and you know the good that can come from it. And so I want to encourage you to do that this week. First off, pray. Pray to God. Seriously, give him your stress, give him your anxieties, tell him your thoughts, tell him what you're worried about, and ask him to show you what he's going to do. The other thing is to help out. I'm sure you're seeing your parents maybe carrying a little bit more weight because not only are they still working, but now they're also having to teach you and to help you do your homework and to stay up to date on your schoolwork. And that's a lot. They've had more added to their plate than they normally do, and maybe they're starting to feel that stress. Yes, they've given it to God and they know God's in control and everything's fine, but that doesn't mean that there's things that they have to do to make them more busy and maybe make them a little more stressed. So you can help. All right, so I want to give you some practical things maybe you can do this week to help out everybody else in your family so that we can all understand that God's got this and we can make this burden as light for each other as we can as we move forward. First thing is pray. Give God everything. Let him know if you're nervous or anxious or stressed. But also pray for him to show you what he's going to do. But second thing, be a joy and not a burden. I know we say that a lot in our children's ministry, but I mean it, okay? If your schoolwork is a burden for you and you make it a burden for everybody else, you're not going to get as much out of it as you should, and it's going to be a chore for the people who have to help you. But if you have a good attitude about it, the people who have to help you have a good attitude, and you're going to get so much more out of it. So be a joy and not a burden. Whether that's picking up and doing your chores or whatever it is, be a joy and not a burden. And also, look for ways that you can step up your game. Ask to do chores that maybe you don't necessarily do. Ask to do a little bit more. Look for ways that you can help out and take some things off the plates of your parents and the people helping you and being with you in this time. Because the less they have to do, the less they have to stress about, and the more you can do, the greater help you're going to be to them and to the world around you. Our goal is to always have the world look at us and see Jesus. So this week, as you go throughout your week, find ways that others can see Jesus in you. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week.